Hi and welcome to MSC. In this video we're going to be looking at using the TVM solver on the TI-84 Plus to figure out the feasibility of saving $1 million for retirement. Okay, so here's a scenario. Let's suppose that there's an investment product that offers an interest rate of 6% per annum compounded monthly. And so what we're going to try to figure out first is how much you'd have to deposit at the end of each month from the age of 18 to 65 in order to have $1 million for retirement. So we're going to go into the TVM solver. So that's under apps, and then it's finance and TVM solver, so 1-1. So the end value here, this is the number of payments that you are going to be making. So this is going to be 12 payments a year times the 47 years from 18 to 65. Okay. The interest rate is 6%. We leave that as a decimal. The present value is nothing. You could see what later you can try and see what that would be if you had some numbers in the present value. But we're going to assume that we have no money to start this investment off with. The payment is what we're solving for, so I'm going to leave that blank for a second. We want $1 million. So there we have $1 million in our future value. Our payments per year are going to be 12. And we'll have the compounds per year match. And again, the graphing calculator will automatically set those up as equal. You can change that if you don't want them to be. It's an ordinary annuity because it's at the end of each month. So we're going to leave that as end. We're going to go back up to the payments and we're going to hit alpha solve. And so we can see here that our monthly payment would be, let's say, $320. So if you can invest $320 in an account that offers 6% interest over the 47 years, you'll end up with $1 million. And what's cool about this is we can actually see how much money you actually deposited. So if I go out with $319.30 and you made 12 of those deposits for 47 years, and so that's just over $180,000, which is a lot, certainly. But we know that we have $1 million in total here at the end. And so we're going to subtract our answer from that and find out that this is almost $820,000 in interest. And you can start to see the power of this type of investment, especially if you can start as young as 18. Pretty awesome. If we go back to the TVM solver, we can play around with this, right? And so if you have a graphing calculator, the TI-84, you can play around with these TVM solvers and figure out what you need to invest, what's realistic for you. What would happen if you didn't start until you were 25? And you'll notice how much harder it is to get to those large sums. But another thing you could consider is rather than monthly payments is weekly payments. So if you made 52 payments a year for 47 years, that's how many payments you'd have made. And now we have to change the payments per year. We have to change it to 52. Immediately it will change the compounds. We don't have to do that. We can change it back. And then we can come back up here to payments and find that the payment here is $73.54. So that can give you a sense of what it would happen with weekly payments. What's cool about doing the weekly payments is because you're contributing a little bit earlier every month, some chunks of money, it starts to earn compound interest a little sooner. And so we can see that there's actually a little bit of savings long term in this. So let's take a look. $73.54. So here we had $73.54 and we made 52 payments of those for 47 years. And we can see that we paid a little bit less money overall compared to the other payments. Not a huge deal, but a little bit less, and that's because you're contributing a little bit earlier in the month. And this highlights a little bit the fact that the earlier that you can make any contribution, whether it's at 18 or whether or not you can make it a little bit earlier in the month or ahead of schedule, will make a big, big difference in the total. So, is it possible to save $1 million for retirement? Certainly, but it does require some diligent budgeting. I hope this short video has been helpful for you. If it has, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the station. And as always, thank you very much for listening and watching.